Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode on my vanilla Minecraft server. I'm getting started pretty early in the morning, but whatever. You might notice there's a little something missing. And that's because I've been hard at work. Over here, I don't have all the blocks in place at the moment, but basically we now have a new smelting. Ow. Yeah, new smelting array with a bunch of redstone. Yay! And it's really hard to see anything down here because it's all very compact. Basically, the gist of it is, and there's a lighting glitch over here somewhere. Come on, I saw you. Yep, there you are. Annoying thing. Anyways, basically, I'll show you in the creative world here in a minute, but you throw that lever and it turns on the smelter. Then you dump your fuel and your smeltables in here. It sorts it and sends it to the carts, and then down at the carts, as long as they're being loaded, it turns off the power to the rails. So you just sit there while they're being loaded, because if you let it just go back and forth, they tend to not load up very much, and then it makes it take longer. And then there's also a unloading station down at the bottom that automatically sends everything back up here. This is our output chest. There is some logic missing that's in my test world, but I figure it should be okay in this particular situation. I was trying really hard to fit it in and have it do exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be able to have just one spot, dump everything in. You don't have to separate it from your own inventory. You literally just dump it all in, and then it outputs it. I didn't want to output it to the same chest because that has a tendency to suck the items back out. Especially when you use hoppers. And I was originally going to run back and forth and have a filter system off of our sorting system here that automatically sorts out the fuel and the smeltable items, sends it to the furnace array, loads the fuel, smelts the items, sends it all back to the sorting system. The problem is we've already got a big giant mess of hoppers underneath the floor here, and they get weird when you start trying to cross them over each other. So anyways, this should be off. Let's go check it out in our creative world after we eat, so when we come back our guy doesn't die of starvation suddenly. Alright, it's over here. This may end up being a little bit shorter of an episode. Basically, all of our logic spread out. What we've got here is we've got the input chest where you dump all your stuff, which that's the extra circuit that's not in it on the server. Basically, this is a trapped chest, and when you open it, it cuts off the power to the track, so the cart will sit there. It's just an extra step to make sure they don't move before everything is loaded. Anyways, we go from there into a sorter, which in our case here, and this is the same way we got it set up on the server. We're using coal as our fuel source. And so we've got our smeltable items that will go over here into this minecart. Our fuel will always go into this minecart, and it checks these bottom hoppers to see if there's items flowing through the hopper. If there are, it'll power this block, which turns off the redstone torch, which then goes and lets that turn on at our AND gate. As long as both of those are on, as long as both lines connected are on, it turns that line on, which runs over to our minecart powered rails. This particular repeater here, going into that block, will power both of those powered rails. As you can see right now, it's not doing anything because that is our cutoff switch, which kills the power to both that, and also there's another line in this case that goes around to cut the power off to the Wow. Cuts off the power to the return line hopper, or minecart with chest, which it seems to be lagging pretty bad. Anyway, that cuts off the power to that. It made sense to me because I was thinking it'd be a good idea to check and see so that way the carts aren't moving constantly. And this is just my way of making sure that it does what I wanted it to do, which is depower the rails when it's loading it, power it back up, send it on its way when it's not doing anything. And there's also, it gives us the ability to easily cut off the track. And then we've got our top hoppers pointed into it, our back hoppers pointed into the rear. Over here, you have to be careful how you power this track because you can accidentally power that hopper. I had that block powered directly and it kept locking the hopper in my testing, which means you don't get anything smelting in there. But like this, it works. And then you get your fuel going in the backside, and then underneath, all I did was pull everything out straight down through hoppers, and then there's a rail down here, which comes over here, and on this unloading station. And as long as it's not unloading something, and that block is in place, that rail is powered so it can go back and forth. But when it unloads something, it'll shut itself off temporarily. And it goes into this item elevator. And this is a silent item elevator. Dropper elevator. Basically, I've got an MC Edit copy of the storage system set that I used over there. And I copied the elevator out of there somewhat. The arrangement's a little bit different, but it does work as is. Just got to make sure you put that in subtract mode. This part ticks the bottom part, and then you got your elevator logic, which then takes it all back up here. And this is where all your smelted items end up. Not terribly complex, just quite a bit of work to do. And the hardest part for me over on the server, which actually, let's land here and let's go back over there. Alright, back to the server. The hardest part, oh, it's starting to get nighttime. I suppose it's been a couple of minutes since I slept, and yeah. Oh, come on now. And now we smash into something. Full bore. Anyways, let's take a nap. The biggest obstacle was trying to orient things correctly and get it to still fit. Actually, I kind of need something else from over here. I was thinking we need a trapdoor, perhaps, and a stone brick slab. Yeah, let's grab a bunch of them just to be sure. Because I was thinking on camera here, we could go and fill in the last little bits holes here. But as you saw earlier, it does work. Even this one works, although earlier I kind of had a mini panic because it looked like I was trying to dry out my sponges because, well, this is under the ocean. Sea level's like that block right there is underwater. And I decided to test it with my sponges, and the coal was fine. I didn't get all my sponges back, and I was like, oh no, what happened? No, where did my sponges go? Well, as it turns out, the sponges had made it all the way down to like there, and there was no fuel in it at the time, and it's like, oh, that'd be why it didn't work. Ow. I've done that a few times, because if you're at the wrong spot, when you hit the ladder, you'll hit the side of the ladder, and you just fall down instead. Yeah. But right here, because of the torch right there, slab goes there. And then that would be a white concrete powder. I can't put a sea lantern there because it won't carry the redstone signal all the way up to there, which makes our little thing not work. I could probably replace that with a stone brick, though. Can I have my ladder back, please? Alright. think it's 1.9 and above that does this, but if you place the ladder, or not to place, if you place a wooden trap door there, when it's open, you can climb it like a ladder. But that should hide the hole a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but basically, we've got this fairly large furnace array. It's just under a stack. There's like 9 short of a full stack of furnaces in this particular array. And there is room to expand it. I just wanted to make sure it would all work. Plus, we don't actually have the fuel for much more than this. This is all the coal that I had in the other array. But yeah, it does work. They go all the way to the end here and then all the way back. And it more or less evenly distributes everything. There's a little finickiness oftentimes when you use minecarts. It likes to fill the ends more first. Although in this case, I think it didn't. I did have to pull stuff out of there from having partially filled it earlier. Also, I made this a solid block because it wasn't working, and I had to run the hoppers that way. I figured it shouldn't hurt because it means it starts unloading here, and it's going to be heading that way when it's unloading. Anyways, that is the project from today's episode. Basically, at the end of it, all you can see of our furnace now is you can see 2 chests and a lever. And if I spent a lot more time, I could probably finagle it, get the hopper lines and the filter over here, and then all you see over there is nothing because everything's over here. The tricky part would be running that input line to turn it on and off. I'm pretty sure that would be the last little bit of our map in that room that needs to be updated until we get the roof on. Baby villager. Yeah, our breeder is still working wonderfully. I did install a lever to turn it off. Turn off the minecarts because I started running low on them. Well, it's not that I wasn't running low on them. Which, that's okay. Maybe not. Probably need that one too. Basically, it kept sending villagers, and the trading hall's already full, and so I was thinking, we could waste 2 or 3 double chests of minecarts. I mean, it's not like we're hurting for iron, but I thought it would be a good idea. Looks like it's mostly been updated. I usually play with view bobbing, but I found when you're holding the maps like this, it's really annoying. Yeah, it should be updated now. Just wander over onto that one to make sure. There we go. Yeah, because the map jiggles back and forth and it doesn't match the screen. I've been debating on whether or not to turn that off or not. Nothing major, but I think on our way back we'll go swing by up top. Just so I can show you guys what I'm talking about with the lever to shut off the minecart retrievals. There we go. And it looks like it fixed itself with that thing where it had 2 green arrows for the same map segment. But yeah, over here what I did was, so I installed another chest for this, and then it started filling that, or sucking that down. So what I did for the initial stoppage is to I put a lever there. And everybody should be good. Everybody should be golden. Yeah, it's a little bit trickier because of the roof you need for your villager here. Because you can cure them turning into zombies. You can turn them back into villagers. You can't turn witches back into villagers. That's not a thing. And over here, I haven't I've seen a couple of new librarians and other villagers I'd like to try trading with. I just haven't done that yet, and it's completely full. So yeah, I don't even know. I think this guy's a Fletcher. Yeah, but there's no new ones coming in, which is good. And I think we'll go ahead and call it an episode here. Big complex redstone thing. I did all the work off camera because even doing it off camera, that took like 3 or 4 hours of redstone just to try to get it in place. And that's not including the couple of hours it took me to design the thing. But it works. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. We've got 2 chests. You got an input chest that you throw everything in. Because most designs I've seen, you have an input for your fuel and an input for the to be smelted, and then a separate place for an output. And I was thinking we could probably compact that a little bit more. If I knew of a good place to put it, I think we probably could have done what I had originally intended. In fact, I may end up doing that at some point. Basically, I'd have to break our hopper chain right about there and bring it over and around and across and back again. And the line from there to there gets a lot longer, and then filter out. Basically, it'd be gold ore and iron ore, and then coal. Those 3 items, and then send them over to the input line of our furnace array, and then go from the output line and run it over to, I don't know, somewhere on the back here. I have to be careful how I run the hoppers because of not only the water underneath, but also the fact that it's a bit of a mess back here. Yeah, it'd have to end up in there somehow. That's why I didn't do that, because we've got the hoppers that run all the way around over there, and then this is basically solid redstone through here. I think there's enough room for me to squeeze it in over here somewhere. I might look into that, but not right now. Anyways, we were going to end the episode a couple minutes ago here. There we go, jabbering on about my ideas. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, do be sure to subscribe. And you can subscribe by clicking on the picture of my Minecraft guy's face on the screen. And you can also check out some of the other videos of mine on the screen as well. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.